Hard Knocks. It's the closest thing football has to reality television. It has dramatic storylines, compelling characters, occasional humor, and an inside look of what it's like to be a part of an NFL team. But like most reality shows, Hard Knocks leave its partakers in shambles. I present to you the Hard Knocks curse. Like most curses, it's not necessarily consistent every year, every time, but a whole lot more times than not, Hard Knocks gets the better of teams it's featured. The show's first team it ever featured was the Baltimore Ravens in 2001. After the Ravens' massive Super Bowl win during the 2000 season, HBO thought, let's get them to be the first ever team starring in Hard Knocks. It didn't go so bad for the Ravens as they finished 10-6, won a wildcard playoff game, but fell to the Steelers in the divisional playoffs. Okay, first one, not so bad, but just you wait. 2002, the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. What could go wrong? Well, the Cowboys finished 5-11, which earned them last place in the NFC East. Head coach Dave Campo was fired, and they were the laughingstock of the NFL. The only lasting positive highlight from the Cowboys' 2002 season was Emmitt Smith breaking the NFL's all-time rushing yards record against the Seahawks in naturally a loss. After a 5-year hiatus, I wonder why, Hard Knocks returned in 2007 featuring the Chiefs. Now in 2007, Kansas City was coming off a playoff season in Herm Edwards' first year as coach. His second year was a massive thud. Kansas City reached its bye week at 4-3, then proceeded to lose each of its final 9 games. Yes, that is correct. They lost their last 9 games. Not helping matters, of course, was running back Larry Johnson getting injured in week 9. The offense led by QBs Brody Croyle and Damon Ward ranked 31st in the NFL. Moving on to 2008, guess who's up to bat again? It's the Dallas Cowboys, but surely this time it'll be different. Dallas entered the 2008 season with high expectations after winning the division in Wade Phillips' first year as coach the season prior. But the Cowboys' 2008 campaign ended with one of the biggest collapses in NFL history. They were sitting pretty at 8-4 entering the last month of the season, but the Cowboys lost 3 of their last 4 games and fell out of a playoff position. They lost their last ever game at Texas Stadium to the Ravens in Week 16, and they closed their season with a blowout loss in Philadelphia, a 44-6 drubbing that sealed Dallas's non-playoff fate. 2009, the Cincinnati Bengals, a bit of an outlier here as the Bengals season wasn't a complete dumpster fire. On the field in 2009 was something of a redemption year for Cincinnati as quarterback Carson Palmer returned from an injury-plagued 2008 season. They dominated the AFC North, sweeping all 3 division rivals and won 10 games for what was just the second time since 1988. Marvin Lewis was named Coach of the Year despite Cincinnati's early exit from the playoffs. Next up, the New York Jets. What if I told you that a reality series notorious for cursing its teams would actually propel the New York Jets the furthest they've been since winning a Super Bowl in 1968? Ah, yes, isn't it fitting that the best team ever featured on Hard Knocks was the New York Jets? Hard Knocks caught the peak of this generation of Jets football, coming off a surprising run to the AFC title game in Mark Sanchez's first season in 2009. Coach Rex Ryan went as far as guaranteeing a Super Bowl victory to close the 2010 season. A crazy prediction, yes, but Rex Ryan wasn't far off. New York's 11-win season tied the second best record in franchise history, and the year was highlighted by the Jets' upset win on the road over the Patriots in the divisional round of the playoffs. Their second half comeback against the Steelers in the AFC title game came up just short. 2012, the Miami Dolphins. Now, the 2012 season was the beginning of a new era in Miami. Joe Philbin was entering his first season as coach, and the Dolphins had drafted Ryan Tannehill in the first round of the NFL draft. Tannehill won the starting QB job in training camp and became the first rookie QB in franchise history to start all 16 games for the Dolphins. The results, as would become the case for much of Tannehill's career with the Dolphins, were up and down. Tannehill broke Dan Marino's Dolphins rookie QB passing yards record with 431 yards against the Cardinals in Week 4, but Miami's offense ranked 27th in the NFL, and the Dolphins were shut out by the Patriots in Week 17 to seal their losing record at 7-9. Maybe not a curse, but definitely not great. 2013, the Cincinnati Bengals. In 2013, the Bengals were coming off consecutive playoff bursts as third-year quarterback Andy Dalton strengthened his grip on offensive coordinator Jay Gruden's offense. Wide receiver AJ Green was emerging as a stud as well. The results were strong. The Bengals had the NFL's 6th-ranked offense and 5th-ranked defense as they won the AFC North for the first time in 4 years. But the playoff struggles continued. Cincinnati's loss to San Diego became its 3rd straight wild card playoff exit. It would become the 3rd of 5 consecutive playoff losses in the wild card round for the Bengals. Cardinals. Now, that may not be a curse, but them losing in the wild card 3 straight times, I don't know, you be the judge. But a curse stretch is definitely coming up. 2014, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, they finished 6-10, were 3rd in the NFC South, and did not make the playoffs. And a couple of years removed from an NFC title game appearance, the Falcons in 2014 were looking for a bounce back season after winning just 4 games the year prior, and they did not get that bounce back season. Atlanta's defense couldn't stop anybody, and it ended the season ranked 27th. Despite a 2-1 start, the Falcons fell apart in October with 5 straight losses before their bye week. And the cherry on top of all of that, Coach Mike Smith was fired after the team was officially eliminated from the playoffs in Week 17. The curse gets a touch better here with the 2015 Houston Texans as they finished 9-7 and actually won the AFC South. Now, the Texans in 2014 just missed the playoffs with a 9-7 record, and JJ Watt won Defensive Player of the Year. In 2015, Watt won the award again, and the Texans repeated their 9-7 record, but this time as AFC South champions in Coach Bill O'Brien's second season. But wait, what about the Hard Knocks curse? Oh, okay, you're right. Unfortunately, the Houston Texans were embarrassed at home in the wild card playoffs against the Chiefs, losing 30-0. Curse is ramping up yet again. 2016 Los Angeles Rams, they finished 4-12, 3rd in the NFC West, and did not make the playoffs. Now, this edition of Hard Knocks chronicled the Rams in their first season back in Los Angeles after the franchise move from St. Louis. They had just drafted quarterback Jared Goff with the #1 overall pick, and coach Jeff Fisher's staff spent much of the season flirting with the idea of playing the rookie over the struggling Case Keenum. Goff finally got his chance to start in Week 11 against the Dolphins, but the Rams had already fallen to 4-5. They failed to win a game the rest of the way with Goff as the starter, and Fisher was fired after a 42-14 loss to the Falcons in Week 14. 2017, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they finished 5-11, last in the NFC South, and did not make the playoffs. Now, the Bucs entered the 2017 season hoping the relative success they had in Coach Dirk Cutter's first year would continue. It did not. Despite increased expectations for quarterback Jameis Winston's 3rd season as the result of some splashy offseason additions, Tampa Bay limped to a 5-11 record with the NFL's worst defense in terms of yards allowed. 2018, the Cleveland Browns, baby, they finished 7-8-1, 3rd in the AFC North, and did not make the playoffs. Now, for most teams, a 7-8-1 record would be disappointing. For the 2018 Browns, it was euphoric. Cleveland was coming off a period in which it won just 1 game in 2 years, and the franchise had just drafted a new promising quarterback in Baker Mayfield. Despite adding the 2nd and 3rd wins of his Browns coaching tenure, Hugh Jackson was fired in the middle of the season, a move that sparked Cleveland to a 5-3 finish and their best record since 2007. So definitely not a curse here, but still 7-8-1, not great. 2019, the Raiders, and oh boy, was this a fun one. The 2019 season of Hard Knocks focused on the Oakland Raiders' final season in the Bay Area before moving to Las Vegas. As always, John Gruden was entertaining, and while the Raiders improved 3 games from the 2018 season, they finished with a 7-9 record and missed the playoffs for their 3rd straight season and the 16th time in 17 years. Not only did they do all of that, but the shenanigans that played out surrounding Antonio Brown were of epic proportion. Losing on top of embarrassment, the 21st century way of Raiders life. The 2020 edition of Hard Knocks was the first to feature 2 teams, as the focus was put on the Rams and Chargers as they prepared for their inaugural seasons at SoFi Stadium. The Rams finished 10-6 to earn the number 6 seed in the NFC playoffs and were knocked out in the divisional round by Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, while the Chargers missed the postseason for the 2nd consecutive year. So, not necessarily a curse, but both teams didn't finish how they wanted. Now, 2021 Hard. This might be one of my favorite seasons ever because the Colts fooled a lot of people, myself included. They got off to a rocky start, then they rallied, and then they got off to a rocky end. In the last game of the season, with the playoffs on the line, they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is the Hard Knocks curse. It's the epitome of the Hard Knocks curse. So that brings us to 2022. This year, the Arizona Cardinals year, featuring a team that should be very, very good and compete for a bid to the Super Bowl. But they do have their fair share of drama going. One being the storyline of them getting off to very hot starts and then falling flat on their face at the end of the regular season and into the playoffs. Also, Kyler Murray was a bit of a drama queen this offseason, deleting every Cardinals picture off of his social media accounts. So with all of this said, I pose the question to you, is Hard Knocks cursed? Will the Arizona Cardinals be any different in 2022, or will their season end shittily like the majority of teams on this list?